You're listening to Strange by Nature, your guide to the strange, weird, unbelievable, and improbable wonders of the natural world.
Hello, everyone, and thanks for being here today. I'm Kirk Mona, and joining me are Rachel Gimza and Victoria Thompson. We're all naturalists who together have scoured the world for weird and wonderful wonders, just to please your mammalian brain's desire for novelty. Isn't that nice? Let's do this.
Hey everyone, welcome to another exciting episode of Strange by Nature podcast.
Oh, we've
Very
made
excited. Look, I recently talked on the show. I think it was fairly recently. I talked about Greece. Maybe it was like last fall or so. I think it was last season. And I was
Kirk,
actually
they all
contacted.
kind of blend together after a little.
Yeah,
like,
they definitely do.
yeah,
but
you didn't
I was
remember last week
contacted
that
by-
had the week before I talked about an autoappendectomy.
Well, no, once you said the topic, I remembered what it was.
Well, yeah.
But I was actually contacted by one of our patrons, Ashley, as I was talking about Santorini, and she and her husband, who is also a patron, by the way, they had spent
Mark.
their honeymoon there, and so that was very sweet. Yes, Ashley and Mark, big patrons. We love you guys. Thank you.
Okay, it's really funny that you say this because my topic was sent to me by a patron and sent friend of the show, Ashley, but it's different. I promise.
Oh, this is not from Ashley. I'm just sort of
Oh.
referencing that this is, they had gone to Santorini for their honeymoon is one of the things that they revealed after we did that episode.
Okay.
And there's a chance, I suppose, that if they had heard this story first, it might have given them pause.
Kirk, I haven't been to Santorini. Is this going to make me not want
I
to go?
have.
Well,
Is it
here's-
about Sarah?
No. Here's what's going on. This past October 15th, a 58-year-old woman from Greece had a very strange day that seemed to start with a sneeze. Now,
Okay.
we all sneeze from time to time. Like, it's a perfectly
Sure.
natural thing. She'd actually had a severe cough for like 2 to 3 weeks, but couldn't figure out why. Other than that, everything seemed fine.
Oh, God, it's a parasite, isn't it?
She sneezed
No.
and then described to doctors that worms had come out of her nose.
No. Oh, no. No. Oh, Kirk, no. Kirk, no.
Yes.
He's so,
Yes, we're doing
listeners,
this.
you obviously can't see this, but Kirk is so excited, and Victoria and I are just sitting here, like, in absolute horror.
Now,
Just
I,
think
Out of
I-
her
Brett is feeling.
nose. Oh, Brett is having the worst time. Came out of her nose?
well, I
Like
look,
little
to be fair,
tentacles?
no. See, I think there's a translation issue going on here. So keep in mind, this story comes to us from Greece. And I read about this in the March 2026 early release edition of the lovely journal Emerging Infectious Diseases.
Ooh.
And the
Oh, I
word
don't
worms,
love that for a journal title.
Yeah, it's a pretty important journal.
Yeah.
Like, the word worms is used in the journal, likely because that is a direct translation of whatever Greek word she used to describe what came out of her nose. And if you're picturing long, like, wiggling worms, like an earthworm,
I'm
I
picturing
have
she
either-
became Davy Jones in Pirates of the Caribbean
yeah,
too.
she didn't. And I have either good news for you or bad news for you, depending on how you feel about things living in your nose.
I feel
Did it-
bad
They were
about
not.
things living in my nose.
I
don't
hate it.
They-
like
In
it.
fact,
They
no.
were not long wiggling worms. The woman went to go see her doctor, and a story of what was going on began to emerge.
Did like
This woman,
when she sneezed into like a tissue, were there worms in the tissue after?
Was it like little white?
Little maggots?
Just ready
wait
ones?
and see. Just wait and see.
Oh, I
Okay.
hate this.
This woman,
Let him
Rachel,
talk.
like
Let him
you,
talk.
works outdoors.
Kirk, you're gonna make this worse.
Well, and the journal article did not say what her job was, but it did note that she works near sheep fields. And when questioned, she did recall that about 1 month earlier, back in September, there had been a very hot, dry day when there was numerous flies buzzing around her face.
Oh, God.
No.
And this is relevant as the doctors found that these were not worms that had come out of her nose. They were, in fact,
Maggots.
fly maggots.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
I hate it
Yes.
so much.
I knew
said
you would. I knew you would.
botfly?
I did not say, but well played, Rachel. They were, in fact, botflies.
Oh.
Because
That's-
regular flies don't eat living flesh.
Also,
So,
I know
I mean, larvae.
I listen to a lot of science podcasts and things, but
yeah.
I know that entomologists and people who are out studying bugs, it's like a rite of passage to get infected by a botfly, and
Look,
you cannot.
there's
pay
lots of
me
kinds of
enough.
botflies. We'll talk about some of those later on, but the journal article didn't actually say how many she had sneezed out. But there were details on what the doctor found when they examined her. Doctors removed not one,
No.
not two, but a total of 10
No.
moving, wriggling fly maggots from her nose.
I hate it
there were-
so much.
So bad.
You guys, listeners,
You're starting
Listeners,
us off this
we're-
way.
I'll get through this together. Okay, I promise. There were actually 10 larvae of various stages and one pupa that they removed from her maxillary sinus. Now, for those of you not real up on your facial sinus configuration, Rachel's just lost it at this point.
The audience is not going to be able to hear Kirk.
I know.
Give her a
She's
minute.
cringing over in the corner.
I'm holding it in for you, audience. This is so bad.
The maxillary sinus is the area just under your eyes and to the side of your nose. So that's the area that often feels congested and full of pressure when you have a cold. Okay.
Or maggots.
That's where these maggots were hanging out. Now, I will note that once the larvae were removed, I'm using the word larva once in a while instead of just saying maggot because it's a nicer word. They were examined, and here's what they found out. The larvae were up to 20 millimeters long. That's 2 centimeters
No.
or nearly an inch. These were not small. I can't imagine
Kirk.
10, 20 millimeter long magnets crawling around inside my sinuses. That sounds
That's
awful.
They got the pupa
nightmare.
out before it turned into a fly and flew back out of her nose.
Yeah,
Or
yeah.
her
So
mouth.
these maggots
What?
were examined
That
and
didn't
confirmed
help.
to be Ostris ovis, aka the sheep botfly. So a gold star to Rachel for getting that it was a botfly. So
I
let's
hate
talk about
everything
the delightful
that led
the
me to this
delightful life
moment.
cycle. We're going to talk about the life cycle of the sheep botfly.
Great.
As described in the journal article, I'm
I
going to quote
wanted
here.
to do this evening.
Yay.
The female deposits the first instar, L1, larvae into the animal's nostrils, which migrate upward into the nasal passages and paranasal sinuses, where they feed, grow, and molt.
What are they feeding on,
are-
Kirk?
Whatever they can find, I think,
That's
they are expelled
gross.
as third instar, L3 larvae, which then burrow into the soil and pupate. So to be clear, they're talking about the normal process here, which involves sheep. Sheep are the normal hosts of sheep bot fly larvae. There have been a few other documented cases of humans getting infected nasally by sheep botflies, so this wasn't a first, but it again, this is rare. And there have really only been a small handful of cases ever recorded.
This is my nightmare.
Horrifically, Rachel, it seems like sheep botflies infecting people's eyes is actually far more common.
That's
Worse.
so much worse.
That's worse.
Yeah,
That's
I guess they
definitely
get
worse.
into the conjunctiva of your eyes. So, I don't think that makes it any better, but just to put you at ease, that is also fairly rare. Probably, Rachel's covering her eyes.
I have to warn my father-in-law not to listen to this episode.
Okay.
I
Well,
love hanging out with sheep, Kirk.
oh well, Something to think about. Oh,
no.
Now, if you were listening carefully here, one interesting thing to note is that they removed a pupa from this woman. And Victoria, you started to kind of talk about this.
Uh-huh.
And if you're listening to what I said about the description of the life cycle, you can see that
in the dirt.
Yeah,
that's usually in the dirt. The sheep botfly only develops the L3 stage in sheep before being expelled and dropping into the soil, where they then turn into the pupa. So generally speaking, the inside of a sinus is not the environment flies need to pupate. So part of why researchers keep track of cases like this is it's not just to help doctors when they discover a strange case they can't solve. It also allows us to see when pathogens or infectious agents like flies might be mutating, evolving, or learning new tricks. Currently, botflies can't pupate in sinuses, but here was an example of one that did. So imagine if it had been able to successfully pupate inside this woman's sinuses, and then it becomes an adult, and you have an adult fly crawling through your sinuses and flying out your nose.
No,
I
don't want to imagine that.
I don't actually.
Imagine it. Imagine it.
No, I don't want to. It is going
Okay,
through
don't
my head.
imagine
It's
it.
as horrific as I thought it would be, and I hate it so much.
Yeah, you can't stop thinking about it. So this sounds awful, but maybe someday this could become a concern, right? And so this is why we want to be prepared when nature throws us a curveball and some of these weird things can happen. Now, the last two things as I wrap up here to note from this example. First off, this is really rare. And I've said that a number of times. I want to put you at ease. Doctors actually think that this woman having an extremely deviated septum may have contributed to this happening. And I don't exactly understand why that would make a difference, but I guess they feel that one nasal passage being wider than the other somehow facilitated this unfortunate situation.
Sure.
And second, I'm sure you may be wondering what happened to the woman. Well, once they removed the larva and the pupa, they simply gave her some decongestants and sent her home. And that's it. She was fine. So,
I mean, that's good,
Except
but
psychologically.
yeah, they're probably just a little scarred.
Of having that in
She's got a good story to
face.
tell, you know. I'm not saying avoid Greece. It's a lovely country. And I'm not even saying avoid sheep, Rachel. Just saying, hey, it's a strange world out there. Try to keep things out of your nose.
Yeah, maybe wear one of those bug veils.
Yep.
Yeah, or a mask that we all have drawers full of. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Mm-hmm.
That's what I got for you.
Thanks for that new nightmare, Kirk.
We're going to take a quick break, and hopefully Rachel will have something more cleansing for us, right?
I have something fun, Kirk.
Great.
Awesome. I thought that was fun. See you soon.
Oh. Welcome back to the show, everyone. I'm still reeling a little bit from Kirk. Sorry, everybody.
I'm sorry, everybody. Yeah.
You should.
Or you're welcome. That was fabulous.
You're not sorry in the slightest.
Look, you guys are all sadists. This is why you listen to the show. I know why you listen.
So I'm actually going to talk about something that is, I think, really fun. And like I mentioned, this is actually sent to me via a patron of the show, Ashley. She sent this my way and went, "What?"
Thanks,
what?
Ashley.
She went, "What? What? Why?" And I went, "Hold on." So today I'm gonna send us back to the ocean after last week.
Of course.
I had to. It's been a little bit since I've sent us to the ocean. Victoria sent us to the deeper parts. We're gonna go to a little bit more. We're going to go more in the reefs and the open waters of the tropics.
Sounds more comfortable.
It does.
Lovely.
So it sounds lovely, especially after the botfly. So today, what we're going to be talking about, we are talking about a type of animal. There are 4 species, technically. They are in the Tremo Octopus genus. We can put that right on my Latin. There we go.
I mean, it wasn't a full genus species, but I guess
do you
we'll
want a
count
full
it.
genus species? Hold
yes.
on.
Oh, yeah.
Actually,
We are all excited for it. Rachel.
okay.
Go for
So one of the most common size, the common is the Tremo Octopus violaceus.
Beautiful.
Right off the
Wow.
tongue. There we go.
7 out of 9.
Yes.
Moving on.
So, also known as the Blanket Octopus. Have either of you heard about
That's so
these?
cozy. No.
I don't think so.
Oh, lovely. All right, so I want you to picture an octopus.
Yes.
Okay? Everyone picture an octopus. Done.
Got it.
Now, 4 of the legs actually have webbing between them.
Oh.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I've seen that.
Hence why it is called a blanket octopus, because there is in the dorsal and dorsolateral arms of the adults, they have this thin, transparentish web, the skin that connects those
A
4.
blanket, if you will.
A blanket. Now, here's the thing. I said the adults. These are the adult females. Okay? So the adult females are, they can reach 2 meters in length.
Ooh.
Oh, big.
Okay. They get
Yeah.
pretty big. So
Whoa.
that's 6.6 feet. So a little over 2 meters in length. And that depends too a little bit on the overall, like which species you are using. We're mostly going to be talking about the common blanket octopus. But there is a few differences between them. Now here's the thing. That's just the females. The males, however, do not have the blanket, the webbing between their tentacles, between their arms.
Okay.
Yeah.
And they are, they're about an inch long.
Yeah, I thought we were going
my
there.
gosh.
Yeah, so this is the
Nice.
most extreme sexual size dimorphism. It's pretty extreme.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is.
The weight ratio is also like the female at minimum weighs 10,000 times the size of the male.
10,000?
Wow.
That's
Wow.
That's
the
wild.
minimum. It can get up to 40,000 times the size.
Oh
of
my
the male.
gosh.
So, and the webbing is actually super important because the webbing actually makes the females appear larger, which actually helps deter some predators and such. And that is what they are there for, is to help drift along and such and like help protect themselves from predators. The males,
Right.
however, being very small, they have one large arm, and what they will do, since this one arm is actually, this is pretty common in cephalopods, they have one specialized arm called a hectococylus, and it is modified for mating. So if they find a female, they detach the arm and give the arm to the female.
That's not where I thought you were going.
This is very common for a cephalopod. So
Okay.
Pleased to meet you. Take my arm.
pretty much what happens is they give the arm to the females, and the females
Like as a
hold it.
snack?
No, they hold it in their mantle. So that way, in like a cavity within her mantle, so that way she can use it whenever she wants to lay eggs. She can just use the sperm within that arm.
It's her sperm
I see.
pantry.
It's the
Ah, I
sperm
see,
pantry,
okay.
yeah. The male then dies. So,
Oh, all right. Well,
yeah, and
there you go.
Octopuses don't tend to live very long anyway.
They don't, but the male will die after mating. The
Yeah.
female won't necessarily, and they've actually been found to have multiple arms in the mantle cavity. So diversity is the key. Diversity is the name of the game when it comes to female blanket octopus. So especially since it makes sense because the females can carry up to 300,000 eggs.
Whoa.
So,
that is a lot.
Yeah. In addition to all of this, which is already kind of wild, the blanket octopus are immune. We've talked about on the podcast the Portuguese man of war,
Yes.
Yeah.
right? Well, both male and immature females will do this. They are immune to the venom of the Portuguese man of war, so they are not affected by that venom at all.
Oh.
And
okay.
they
Handy.
will, especially since they will actually rip off tentacles of the Portuguese man of war to help protect them for offensive and defensive
Oh.
purpose. They're like, I've got a
Whoa.
tentacle, ha 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 ha, and they
That
literally
is
like
wild.
use that to help like make, especially if you're an immature and you haven't developed the overall blanket yet, you're not big enough, or you're a male and you're tiny, using a tentacle from one of the most venomous creatures out there, pretty good,
Amazing.
Totally
pretty
Amazing.
phenomenal. It's a
Yeah.
really good way to go. They haven't, I will say that overall the blanket octopus, while really fascinating, haven't been seen a ton. They have, the discovery of the males actually was a more recent, like that was, they were found for the first time in within the last 30 years. Because they were finding all these females, but they couldn't, and they found like the arms within the mantles of the blanket octopus, but they could not find the males anywhere. So it took a long time, which if you know, now that you know about the size discrepancy, makes sense why you wouldn't be able to
Does make
see
sense.
those.
Yeah.
Yeah, and generally, like, they eat, like many other octopus, they eat, like, small fish and mollusks and other crustaceans. They gotta watch out for sharks and things of that nature, too. But it's just a really cool species that we are still learning quite a bit about because they're pretty elusive. And the fact that we've even found out as much as we have is pretty phenomenal. Also, just the pictures of them and their like blanket and the webbing that they create, a lot of them are just absolutely gorgeous.
Nice.
It is a beautiful, I never talked about like what their colors are at all, but they are generally like a cream color with like shimmering greens, purples, and reds, just all the way down.
Oh,
and they
nice.
look, they're gorgeous. And they kind of just radiate. They don't seem to tend to use as much of the chromatophores of like changing colors as much. They mostly use that blanket more than just changing the color and texture of them like other octopus.
Right.
But they do use a really bright, dazzling display to help distract from predators.
Nice.
It's just amazing, and they are surprisingly hard to find, even though they are absolutely beautiful and gorgeous, and the females are huge. Yeah, so that's what I wanted to talk about today. I want to talk about the blanket octopus and the fact that the males are so much tinier than the females, and the females are absolutely gorgeous. So my sources today, I got some basic fun facts from factanimal.com. They had some really fun little facts, some background information on Wikipedia, and then Weird Wildly also had some really interesting facts, but otherwise, yeah, that's what I got for you all today. So we are going to take a quick break now that you've had that lovely little refresher. And we're going to hang out with Victoria. She's got something fun for us, yes?
Yeah.
Yes. Nothing gross. No botflies, yes?
No, it's fun. It's not gross.
Yes. All right. We'll be back.
This week's episode is brought to you by the Society of Strange. That's what we call our patrons over at patreon.com/strangebynature. Society members directly support the show they love, and depending on their level of support, get fun perks such as bonus content on select shows, insider photos, water bottle stickers, and here's a big one, every level of support gets every episode 100% ad-free. Come join the other lovers of the show, help keep this strange show going, and get those ad-free episodes. We'll see you all over at patreon.com/strangebynature.
We're back. I just finished reading a really fascinating book
Ooh, yeah.
called Women's Work the First 20,000 Years,
Ooh.
which looks at the role of the typically female work of creating textiles, why it is that became women's work, and how it relates to the development of civilizations in like the Near East, Egypt, and Europe.
I was just reading a little bit about that actually too, and like what women's work actually like entails. Anyway, we could talk about this later. Keep going, Victoria. That sounds fascinating.
It's a really good book. I highly recommend it. It was a difficult subject to study for the author because, of course, most fibers decay and are not usually preserved in the archaeological records. So
Sure.
the author, Elizabeth Wayland Barber, brought in numerous other lines of evidence, including like linguistic and folkloric, to support her evidence or her hypothesis. It's a really great book, really readable, based on solid evidence. She argues that the invention of string was actually a huge technological leap forward. And if it were better preserved, we might talk about the String Age and not just like the Stone Age, the Bronze Age, and the Iron Age.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Well, I mean, yeah, think about it with like the invention of fabric and clothing and all of that.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
And fishing nets and all kinds
Totally.
of stuff.
And it's kind of mind-boggling, but if you go back more than about 250 years prior to the invention of the spinning jenny and the power loom, every bit of thread and every piece of cloth that a human used or wore was spun and woven by hand, usually by a woman.
Wild.
Anyway, so I was thinking about weaving and sewing and how important they are to our lives and civilization, and thinking about how did that idea first come about. Of course, we can't know for sure, but I also can't help but wonder if people didn't first get the idea from birds.
Yeah. Okay. Or spiders.
Interesting.
Or spiders. There are two types of birds in particular I want to talk about.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Weaver birds and tailor birds.
Okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Love it.
So I feel like weaver birds are a little better known. I think, Kirk, you talked about the sociable weavers.
Yes.
There was some weaver bird I talked about, yeah.
Yeah.
I do remember talking about some weaver bird, or like they had huge nests or something.
Yeah. Well, not all weaver
yeah.
birds build huge communal nests like that. There's a whole family of weaver birds, the Plosiidae. They're mostly found in sub-Saharan Africa. Some are found in tropical parts of Asia. The males are often brightly colored, like red or yellow or orange, and they have kind of a finch-shaped seed-eating beak. Now, of course, many birds do a primitive sort of weaving to create what you think of as like a typical bird nest, like a robin's nest or something.
Which is already amazing enough because we struggle building a bird nest like structure with our hands, the fact that they do it with their feet and beak.
Yeah, it is very impressive. And they're just like, using their feet and beak to poke and wind little bits of grass and twigs and stuff around each other. Weaver birds, on the other hand, they're using grass and other fibers to tie actual knots and literally weaving strands in and out of each other and creating a very specific shape that they're going for, a rounded, enclosed shape, and it varies by species. Some of these nests are incredibly elaborate. Some have false entrances leading to an empty chamber that can deter snakes, while the eggs are resting safely in another chamber with a second hidden entrance.
So cool.
Male weavers are typically the ones to build the nests. There's some species are polygamous, some species are monogamous. In polygamous species, the male will work on a nest and then try to get females to come check it out. And if a female indicates
Likes
the nest is like, if she likes it, she'll add soft nesting materials. She'll mate with the male and settle in. If she rejects the nest, the male will tear it up and start weaving a new nest all over. It's like, well, she didn't like it. Nobody else is gonna. I'm only gonna start over again.
Rejection.
I mean, yeah.
So males can be weaving up to like dozens of these nests over the course of a breeding season sometimes.
Oh my gosh.
And they use different materials, sturdy grasses, palm frond leaves, pine needles, other types of leaves, sometimes, like human string type things.
Mm-hmm.
They'll rip like leaves lengthwise to get narrower strands if they need them. Yeah, and they're able to do all this just with their beak and their feet, which is amazing.
Wow.
Yeah. Jeez.
There are birds that weave similar nests, but are not part of the weaver bird family. For example, the Baltimore oriole, which lives part of the year in Minnesota, creates a similar round hanging nest. Although in this case, the female,
beautiful.
Yeah, they are beautiful.
A pendulous nest.
Pendulous, yes. The female builds those in the oriole. Tailor birds are maybe even more remarkable. There are several species that live across Asia, and they're pretty small little birds, like 10 to 14 centimeters long. They have short wings and a tail that sticks kind of straight up in the air. And they have these long, curved, and pointy beaks, which they use to help create their remarkable nests. The female will make the nest. She'll choose a spot that's hidden among leaves, and she chooses a strong and flexible leaf that's not going to crumble or crack when it's bent. And she pierces with her beak a series of small holes along the edge.
Ooh, cool.
And they're small enough that the leaf is not going to tear, or it retains its shape really well and it doesn't turn brown. They're just little tiny poked holes. And then she uses thread. She uses plant fibers or spider silk to sew the edges of the leaf together, forming a little cup. And usually it's like also
that's insane.
Sewed to a roof leaf to protect and hide the whole thing.
Oh my God.
That is awesome.
That's so cool.
Sometimes they do run stitches from one set of holes to another, or sometimes they use the thread more like a rivet to just pin two holes together.
Sure.
Whoa, cool.
Yeah.
They're wild.
But
I love nature.
It's so amazing. Yeah, that's, and these birds have been around for a long time. So, and they've been living in areas where people were. So you sort of wonder, like, were some people looking at the tailor birds just sewing and thinking, well, what if I made some string and think what I could do with it.
That's so cool. Oh my gosh.
Wow.
That's what I got this week.
That's amazing.
Yeah, it's just kind of mind-blowing. I got some information this week from the UK Natural History Museum, had some good information about tailor birds. The Nature Museum of the Chicago Academy of Sciences had some information about weaver birds, and also the blog of a South African birder called Fancy Peacock. Not sure if that's his real name. Sounds made up.
But it
called
feels
Avian
fun.
Architects. Yes. And a little bit of background information from Wikipedia as well.
Oh, cool.
And I believe that brings us to the end of our show. We started off with something super gross. And
what a run.
Ugh, disgusting.
Yeah.
But we got some really fun things, and we got more to come. Oh, amazing.
Yes. All right. Well, that takes us to the end, and we're going to say goodbye.
See y'all next week. Bye.
Thanks everyone for listening to today's show. Be sure to subscribe. New episodes drop every Wednesday, and we love sharing this strange world with all our listeners. If you would be so kind as to leave us a 5-star rating and review wherever you get your podcasts, that would be great. It lets other lovers of the strange discover the show. You can reach us by searching for Strange by Nature Podcast on Instagram, Facebook, and Blue Sky. You can send us an email as well. Our address is contact@strangebynaturepodcast.com. If you want more information about the show, you can check out our website, strangebynaturepodcast.com, and you can support the show and get ad-free episodes at patreon.com/strangebynature. Until next week, get outside, stay curious, and embrace the strange.